I have seen and killed real evil. I'm not talking about people. Well, I have killed plenty of them too, but no man compares to real evil. No man is capable of the same atrocities. In case a real evil inflects giants. During my first deployment to Afghanistan, and they are the epitome of evil. How many US Army Ranger I've been serving in bed for 12 years and I've seen him killed. The scariest shit imaginable. I haven't told anyone for the fear of what happened to my family and me. I lay awake most nights wishing I could tell my wife what I've encountered her. My mind is so breaking from the way that I have to carry the. You deserve to know what lies in the shadows. You deserve to know what they're hiding from you, and you deserve to know about the men and women who have sacrificed their lives to keep the forces of evil at bay. Skip the next few paragraphs. If you're knowledgeable on the Spec Ops community, it's important that you have a basic understanding before I get to the crazy shit. I promise you that the stories that will follow will be worth the wait. I mean, is there a 22 Spec Ops unit along with the Green Berets, the SEALs, the Marines, the Force, Recon, and the MARSOC, and Tier 1 consists of the KEG, the Delta Force, the Dev Grew Up, the SEAL, Team 6, and numerous groups that I want to speak about. There's value in being an unknown to the world. We are often joined by one from around the world, which are usually the SAS, the Brits, the Aussies, the Kiwis, and the Joint Task Force 2 and the Canadians. 22 consists of the top 1% of the military. 01 generally only recruits the best from Tier 2, and we all trained for years for selection and qualification schools. We all possess top secret security clearances or higher. We're all very good at killing, and we all will forfeit our freedom or lives and possibly those of our family if we share what we've done. Our government utilizes spec units because we work in secrets and we are the best. We are well funded and we can play anywhere in the world without congressional approval and declaration of war. You'd be shocked by how many countries and which countries that we're currently serving at. Our track record is impeccable, but usually it's close to the public. I am 34 years old, a major, and I had been serving him, but are the Rangers Battalion for a second and third for the past 12 years. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri Grand. I'm currently attending a military school at 411 to my next appointment to some hellhole in. The good news is that I have plenty of time to share my experiences before I head back out, and my first encounter with real evil happened during my first deployment to Afghanistan, 2009. I remember checking the computers in Kuwait while waiting to C-130 to take me to background and the air base in Afghanistan, and I was excited that the cheese to just sign that castle there, thinking that would be headed to the Super Bowl soon. Talk about naive, anything to get my mind off. What a way to me. Death and paralysis. I was 24, just a year out of college, and I didn't even have play serious girlfriend, and I had a lot to live for, and I pushed you out of my mind, leaning on the fact that I'd be leading the baddest motherfuckers in the planet. My Rangers would get it done and I would make my battalion in Rangers proud. I flew in the background at 2,200 hours with a couple dozen other soldiers wearing our IATVs R. The C-130 was dark. Only the gym green lights illuminated the inside, and those around me glowed with an alien green. The pilot gave us a warning to strap in as he began his descent, making eye contact with me, yellow the ramp, lower the, slamming hard onto the Smith's runway with a loud and metallic crack. I grab my gear and I head out into the dark. A huge Staff Sergeant LG, get your shit and follow me, Steph, Sergeant Vasquez. And it was a storage container which had 3 sleeping quarters. Looking at the dozens of TV screens and soldiers monitoring radios, the room was full of chatter, too much chatter. Something big was going on. My lieutenant, Colonel Williams, introduced himself and telling me that I was in the big leagues now and to shut up and do exactly what, Captain Stone, and realized that this wasn't going to be a normal mission. Vasquez sat at the table with 8 others, their sleeves bare, no ranger scrolls. I realized that it was an Oda of the Green Berets started his brief. The team 329 with missing approximately 4 hours ago in a desolate portion of the LLC Mountains. The last transmission came in, broke it up, and they were escorting a CIA operative to a cave high on the mountains. We haven't been told anything else. We were sending in team 357 along. Your platoon is on a mission for another few days, so you're going to get some experience learning from CPT, and the C2 intel officer stepped in and provided as much detail as he cared for the mission on. My commander pulled me out of the room, LT, but we don't know what the hell is going on. The CIA are being shipped bags as usual. They love the teams and us in the dark, and I want you in Vegas to get as much intel as possible while you're there, for something we don't know what, for 3 Humvees that have been stripped down. They basically looked like dune buggies with miniguns mounted on top. CPT Stone looked me in the eyes. He had to steal the results, fiercely serious, and fully extended his arm above his head. No, aim high, I nod, and we all loaded into the vehicles. Is he saying that they'll hit us from the top of a cave? And I remember thinking I pushed you out of my mind, was constantly scanning the perimeter away to be ambushed on the roads. I looked back at the huge bearded team of guys. They were all looking straight ahead, and they all seemed to know something that I didn't, and they had zero concern for the road and seemed to be a million miles away in their minds. It was as if the real threat far exceeded what we'd see from the high. She's en route, and we hit the Alice in Mountains a couple hours later, pulled into a small combat out called Sanders, Montana. I remember thinking that we were invincible. As I look back at these huge warriors, these guys probably have taken down an entire OK to unify themselves. They had the luck, the one you earn from taking the lives of other men. I felt like I was superhuman a little. Did I know what a way to does? And we came upon the cave just as the sun was crashed in the mountains. As the darkness faded into the cave, looked like the mouth of a giant serpent. As we approached Stone, Sada eyes up. Keep your distance 100 meters of the cave. I saw something shiny on the ground. I said before the squad to halt, and I called Stone over. It was a radio. The mic had been ripped off in the radio down the side of a chunks. One of the team guys took point at him. Take a few steps towards the cave. I was overcome with the worst smell imaginable, like sulfur and rotten milk, and I began to get an intense feeling of despair and hopelessness. It wasn't the adrenaline rush in heightened senses of a normal engagement. From the cave sounded like a cross between a man yelling and the roar of a lion. The blended in an impossible manner before we knew it was something huge, came charging out of the cave and then 15 feet off the ground. I looked it in basement. It was absolutely massive, standing 13 to 14 feet tall. His set alarm clock on another sacks on his feet. We were all momentarily frozen from this thing. Finally, Captain Sun yelled the headshots. Captain, still empty is another magazine of 7.62 into the giant's have. Before going to check on his body, it took 3 of us to let the spear and another 2 to pull his body off of the spirit shaft, which makes a noise as we pull them off. The spirit ripped out his entire chest cavity. His ribs are splintered and sticking straight out like crickets lay in a pile on the desert floor. The 5 of us covered in his warm, sticky blood, and Captain Jones caught in the set rapping request to transport. We all sat down for what seemed like an eternity of silence. Normally after a mission we would joke around and tell the most inappropriate stories. It's traditional, makes the horror of war feel a little more acceptable. But today was different. Every eye was over here from the giants, chunks of skin tissue and military uniforms littered in a pile. Stop in the corner where hundreds of weapons, modern guns like M4s and FALs, rusted out AK-47s in ancient riding swords, spears and shields. It's like it was keeping trophies, and on my showed up 15% down. So thanks for the intel. The ancients never made eye contact. They unloaded at forklift in cargo nets, wrapping up the beast and loading the man captain. So emotion for me to come over. I asked if he was doing his closure report, a brief that officers said to fill out to summarize battles. He said no, wait for it. Shortly after, one of the agents walked over and pulled out of a piece of paper. It was a pre-filled closure detailing how we had been ambushed by Al-Qaeda. He had been killed before. We scared them off, and he said, sign here, in motion for me to do the same with the threatening look. The agent said, you can never speak of this. He turned and he walked away, and I asked, what's enough? Momentarily, and then he walked off. When we returned the background, we did a full debriefing. Some guys sat on the corner of the entire time to ensure that we didn't speak about the giant. After the brief, my commander told me to shower and meet him at the smoke pit in 20 minutes and to ditch your electronics. Williams handed me a cigarette as I approached the smoker. He asked me what I said on the mission, and then explained to me that 6 other teams with these giants, most were less than we. They informed me that he was trying to figure out what the hell they were, and she did eventually, but that's a story for another day. My first engagement with that giant set off a chain of events that brought me to the truth of those evil beings and many others. After that mission was over, I was approached by one of the team guys. He removed his hat. Reveal a keep underneath. Sir, do you want to know what that thing said to you when?